I'm shattered porcelain, glued together again, invincible like I've never been. A quote from the song 8, Sleeping at Last, a quote that Annaka really liked and resonated with. Annaka, she lived to be 17 years old. She was shy, quiet. Annaka was a very theatrical person. Even as a kid, she pretended a lot. She was living in her own novel, her own fantasy novel. But she was also very sensitive, empathetic, maybe a little bit bossy at times as a young kid, but responsible. She was an eldest daughter, to two younger siblings, Veronica and Zachary. And, as any eldest daughter can contest, that did require a lot of emotional labor on her part, and that's probably where that sense of responsibility came from. But she always prided herself in being good and in being the role model that she was supposed to be. She had her academics and she had her responsibility and musical talent, and she put all of her self-worth into that. She was independent, and she knew that she had to, or told herself that she had to take care of herself. She always wanted to be good and prided herself in that. Good at things, good for others, and just a good person. Maybe that stemmed from her love of Barbie as a kid. She always wanted to be the jack of all trades that Barbie was. She dreamt of being an artist, an author, a princess, a ballerina. She dreamt of having a family. She dreamt a lot of love and all sorts of fantasies in her mind of a prince coming to sweep her up off her feet, of being the damsel in distress who was wanted and wanted to be saved. And later, that fantasy changed into a princess coming to save her. And, other questions arose. When she was younger, she idolized Barbie. She was really lucky to see herself represented as this blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl in all of these fictional characters. And she loved pink and dresses and glitter and sparkles and lace, and she really projected herself onto these little characters and loved being a girl. And, took pride in that. And, when she was bullied for that, she still didn't let go of that as a desire she always had. She didn't let that bullying take her kindness either. She didn't let the world make her worse to others. She sometimes wasn't as kind to herself, but always to others. Obviously, she still grew to be a teenager and sassed and was inconsiderate and whatnot and did all sorts of very not nice things, as we all do growing up and when we're figuring out who we are. But she still valued kindness above all else. She tried on a whole bunch of different labels and shapes and people to be. She was always incredibly creative. She loved doing arts and crafts as a kid, particularly like bracelet making on her rainbow loom or with beads that Kamama had given her. She used to do little music videos on her iPad mini after she found that Gabrielle Dagenet had an iPod where she was using Video Star to make cool videos, and she was super jealous. So she spoke to her parents and begged them to get an iPod, and, they delivered, got her little iPad. She was incredibly happy. And, that creativity was brought out in her love for music. She did 7 years of violin, 7 years of flute. And, those creative experiences shaped her into the kind of creative person she came to be later. She went through tough times, but she made it through just about all of them. What we can learn from her is that we all have parts of ourselves that we don't know are there. Parts of ourselves that are still developing, that we're still getting to know or find, and that we are trying to improve or change every day. And that's okay. And we're ever-evolving beings. She taught me that I can be whoever I want to be. I don't have to stay in a box, and I can put myself in any box and jump into a whole bunch of different boxes and selves, and that there's no permanent state of being, that I am and can always evolve into another person, another thing, another way of being. And I thank her for teaching me that and bringing that to me, despite an ever-shifting identity. She remained a kind person at her core.